So what is E61 and why it is great? First of all, there are different implementations of E61. There are some variations in terms of how it works, because originally it's fully mechanic one, so fully mechanic machine, which can do this function. It releases the pressure from the group after making the shot. So this is manual solenoid valve. So by lifting this lever, there is a cam and it opens this upper valve and water starts to flow, and then you activate the pump because it hits this button. So water starts to flow because of the pump, and after moving your lever down, these valves open and this one closes. So pretty clever construction. Modern ones use sometimes solenoid valve, which is automatic, so without lever, and also there are variations in terms of how it is heated, meaning it could have some heating element inside the group itself. And why it is great now? Because it is thermosiphon. It's just two tubes from the boiler, from the upper part of the boiler and the lower part of the boiler. And because of the layering, I recalled the word because of my notebook. So stratification of water is layers of water have different temperature. Upper layer is hotter, that's why it starts to flow through the group, and it exits through the group in the lower part, and while doing so, while circulating, it heats up the group by just water, by physics, which is incredible. So that's why it has a lot of thermal stability and inertia, and it is great because we will have more or less stable temperature. But of course, if you have La Marzocco, they have saturated boiler, which means the group itself is part of the boiler. It's connected and the water is filled not in the boiler itself, but in the group as well. So it's not just a tube, it's a huge mass. Is connected. Here it's somewhat connected. So of course it's 10 degrees now in studio and it is radiating heat a lot. What this means that it could be a little bit unstable in terms of difference of the temperature. It's probably designed to work in a perfect room temperature like 20-25 degrees Celsius, not 10. But about this machine, it is single boiler, meaning it has 500 milliliters boiler, which is very nice because Gaggia Classic, if you install PID in E24 version, which is new one relatively, it has bronze boiler, which is 128 milliliters, stuff like that. So this one at least 3 times bigger thermal mass, and when you run in the shot, which is around 50 grams of water or more, it is 1/10 of the boiler, and in Gaggia it will be like half of a boiler emptied and fresh cold water entered the boiler. And because there is no preheating water prior to entering the boiler, you will have very high temperature drop. Even though the boiler on Gaggia is very massive, it still will not be able to heat up the water that fast. While here we have the boiler itself, it's huge, the group is huge and heavy, and it adds thermal stability somewhat. So why I think it is nice to have such machine, and don't think much about the temperature stability, etc. Because if you watched my episode about temperature for espresso, you know that the brewing temperature is nice within around 90 degrees to 95. In this range, you probably will be fine. And if it will drop during the shot to some degree, it will be fine still. I tried it on Gaggia with 97 degrees drop, it dropped to around 97, so like 5 degrees difference from the start of the shot to the end of the shot. Anyways, what it means, we can set 95 degrees Celsius, probably will be fine. You don't need to think about that much. So about issues of E61 group, which is originally originated from FAM in 1961, if you didn't know for some reason. But anyways, you can get my notebook with the coffee recipes and notebook Black Espresso, which explains espresso. And you can take 210 shots here, noted. journaled. So in this case, it took around 30 minutes to get somewhat stable temperature. Now let's check what it will give us, because previously I've run the shot and it showed here the temperature of, whoa, it's hot, 95 degrees Celsius water temperature, which enters the basket. And alternatively, you can install some temperature sensor here, but you can avoid spending $100 because you can just use some tool. This tool. Now what we'll have, we can measure some parts of the boiler and it will give us some reading, but it's better to go inside and measure internal temperature because like it's jumping all around, all over the place. 77, 78, 80, whoa, it's pretty nice. Let's unscrew. Oh, and by the way, what I forgot to mention, which is the most important part, then that this is machine for enthusiasts mostly because you will need to service it and it will take some time. You will need to do this once in a while, but this machine is from 2013 and 2025 now, haven't been serviced in terms of the group itself, so the temperature inside is around 87 degrees Celsius. Let's check the water that we'll get. Will it be hotter now? Let's measure water temperature. It's 8.9 degrees in here, lower than 10. Yeah, it's hotter, running hotter. 56, 86, 87. And that's 150 grams of water from the boiler displaced with cold water. Let's check how PID will show us. What PID will show us. It doesn't heat up. It will show the dot in the corner. So it's heating, not heating. 93, it keeps it. Anyways, you can adjust PID to be more aggressive in terms of heating, slow down more aggressively, etc. So it is possible to do that, but standard settings are fine. What I'm going to do now is to try make some shot, because temperature seems to be stabilized. So it took around 23 minutes to stabilize to 85 degrees water temperature, and currently it's 48 minutes of heating. So it's pretty ready. And it will wear out this cam inside. As you can see, it's a little bit needs attention because 12 years of use. You can make it quieter. First of all, you can do a lot of things because it's somewhat converted to a review. Anyways, I like that this machine has PID because of fluctuations of temperature in regular machines with thermostats, etc., which are not precise in terms of temperature. It will not keep temperature narrow. It will be like 80 degrees difference. And this thing may heat up higher than needed. And if you use heat exchanger machine with heat exchanger instead of single boiler, it will have a thing where when you need to flush first water for some time to stabilize the group temperature and temperature inside the brew boiler. What's interesting about this machine, will it vibrate in terms of, oh yeah, it's like 22 gram basket. I need a smaller one. 18 plus 3, 21 grams. The basket is enormous. I think it's somewhat abrupt video, but should be interesting, probably, for some. So now the tests. Will it vibrate badly enough so that I will not be able to monitor my shot. Vibration is better than Gaggia Classic. Yeah, OPV starts to scream. 12 seconds. It's not like the grind size is not suitable, but still runs. Whoa, that's impressive. Let's use 21 gram, but correct our grind size. So that's nice. Very, very flat. So I'm basically preparing for review for local channel. That's why I'm just making this episode as it is, without any structure, because I want to check what's the temperature setting I should use. Because 93, we played with PID, I've set standard parameters. So internal components, there is a lot of space, a lot of free space, so you probably can make some sound deadening inside somehow. Also, you can probably add some thermal insulation to the boiler, which will be very, very nice to have. Lever up. I like lever instead of button, because buttons is not exciting. Well, this is great. The grind size should be smaller, but anyways. 40 grams out in 24 seconds. Next shot will be with 22 grams. Look at this. Isn't it what you want from espresso? Currently, I'm happy with the machine. It costs here like $600 maybe. Around $600 used, which is very, very nice value, because as you can see, it works properly. I didn't do anything. The only thing is the smell from the tank, water tank, but it just needs to be cleaned. What a nice shot. Just perfection. Great machine, can give you great espresso right away. It's just solid espresso. You feel the character of espresso. And it is balanced. No complaints about temperature at all. Like, it's perfection. Opened up all of the flavors right away. So as you can see, it's not sticky anymore. The lever works nicely, and I can insert without holding the machine, which is very, very important for me, and probably for everybody. But I think that's it for today's video. If you want more content with this machine, first of all, you can support me on Patreon so that I will be able to buy it, purchase it, or just write in the comments, because it will be in the studio for around a week more. Thanks for watching, see ya.